Hi, Tessa. Thank you for meeting with me today. I know that many web students will be excited to see the face of their course certificate manner, but today I'd like to ask you a few questions about your experience with the certificate and how it affected your life. Would that be okay?
Yes, sounds good to me.
When did you enroll in the Web Application Developer Certificate and why?
I started in the certification and the associate's program back in 2010, and I graduated in 2013 and absolutely loved it. It's the best program that I would recommend.
What was your previous experience with computers and web pages before entering the program?
Well, Marty, I've always been into computers since I was very young. I had a Macintosh computer at age 10 and always played games and fiddled around with computers, and I've always been great with it.
So you were a natural as far as working with computers.
Correct. Natural.
When did you graduate earning your web degree? Did you say 2013?
2013, correct.
Okay. What have you done since you left Edmonds in the web development program?
Actually, in the middle of the program, after I got my certification and still working on the associate's program, I started looking for jobs for fun and actually landed a web application developer job working on content management systems and building custom applications for a company. And and I did that for about 3 years. And in the middle of that, I started teaching web development.
How, so how did you find was that your first job or your next job, your second job?
It was my second job as the teaching.
Huh. Back to the degree for a moment. What was the hardest topic in the web classes for you to get to feel good about?
I feel like the hardest class was definitely JavaScript, and it's unfortunate that it's one of the beginning courses to take because it makes you think that all the other courses are going to be much harder when it actually gets easier and easier throughout the program. But it's very important to know that JavaScript is one of the first things you need to learn before any of the other stuff makes sense. But it definitely does get easier.
How did you overcome that difficulty? What did you do to get through that portion of the
Overcoming that difficulty was tough to figure out, but the number one thing I did was not give up, and I continually reached out to resources and blogs and read tutorials one after another, went back to the textbook, going through different examples. Um, I even looked at different examples and played around with it and see exactly how it works. When you're seeing it in action, it's a whole different level of your perspective with the code. And after that, I reached out to my resources with other students that are working on the same thing, and we discussed and worked together on stuff. I mean, there's parts where I was good at and another student wasn't, and vice versa. So it's definitely easier when you're reaching out to other resources.
what kind of advice would you have for students that are having issues with the topics of the certificate?
My biggest advice is definitely do not be afraid to ask questions. It's very important. That's why our instructors are here, is to help you succeed and help you move on through the program. You submit a homework help request, and we're happy to work with you, whether it's just sending you an email or setting up a one-on-one a meeting with you over Skype. So, and we can connect to your computer and see your actual issue. I mean, there's a lot of different methods we can take, and also we have you can go into the college and get homework help right inside of a classroom. We have our some web assistants there as well.
Great, thank you. So,
Thank you.
what advice would you give students to help them be successful, not only in the program, because we've already covered that kind of, but in the field of web development? What would you say would be their first steps once they're done?
So I have a lot to say on this part. This is my favorite one. I want you to know, as students, that when you are ready to look for a job while you're in the program, or if you're complete with the program and looking for a job, I want you to know that I'm here for you to mentor you throughout your looking for a job. And I have a lot of great advice and words of encouragement to help you continue. There's so many different things you can do, and I introduce pieces of that in the program that will help you reach those goals, such as one of the biggest thing that employers look for, aside from your skill set, is the kind of contributions that you make to open source projects. It's the number one big thing that they look for on resumes, and it counts 100% just as much as real work experience. And contributing means, working for free on project and contributing to a community that's keeping us a software free and openly available.
Thank you. So do you have any more thoughts or comments that you'd like to add that I haven't covered?
Sure. I wanted to also note that never feel discouraged. There's been several students that are in your same position where you're just starting out the program and you feel like nothing is making sense. I just want to let you know that these students have become successful, and so far there has been a really good track record with the web development program at Edmonds Community